现在很多男
Nowadays, many men have started to guard themselves against women because the dating scene is full of gold diggers. With the rise of certain apps and report buttons, these bad women have completely ruined the market. Now, even if a man meets a good woman, he stays cautious. He doesn't give her much power anymore. In the past, he would, but because of these manipulative girls who messed everything up, men have stopped trusting. Relationships between men and women have become extremely toxic and difficult to handle, to the point where even good women are losing their place.
中国的男性正在
Chinese men are collectively withdrawing from the marriage and dating market. Do you know why more and more women can't get married? Because men simply don't want to get married anymore. According to recent data, on one major dating platform, women make up 80% of the users, making single men a scarce resource. In other words, today's single men simply have no interest in marriage. Even the latest statistics from China's Ministry of Civil Affairs show that in 2024, the number of marriages nationwide plummeted to 6.1 million couples, the lowest level in 40 years. Fewer and fewer people are getting married. But it's not that men don't want to marry, it's that they've awakened. Earning their own money and spending it however they please has become a common mindset among men. And reality is even stranger than fiction. A 35-year-old female executive goes on a blind date, and a young man from the 2000s generation immediately asks to check her social security payment record more thoroughly than an HR manager. Female white-collar workers in Shanghai's multinational companies have lowered their standards to seek rural men, yet are rejected for being too old. The tables have truly turned. According to related surveys, men's willingness to marry has dropped from 70% to 60% in recent years. Even more alarming, the proportion of men choosing to remain single for life is 24 times higher than that of women. Yet, many women remain trapped in a capitalist illusion, carefully crafted to exploit them. From the first cup of milk tea in autumn to the 10 grilled sausages ritual, behind every viral holiday or romantic trend lies a billion-yuan consumer trap. Those who keep shouting that women don't want to marry need to wake up. Nowadays, some men at matchmaking corners list outrageous conditions. A salary of 3,000 yuan, no car, no house, yet they demand a woman with an 8,000 yuan salary, a car, and a house. When they do that, they're accused of being leeches living off women. The irony is that while many women are still learning online how to make their boyfriends empty their shopping carts, awakened men are now spending their Valentine's gift money on gaming skins, or using their dowry savings to modify their cars. In fact, this rebellion has been long in the making. Studies show that maintaining a marriage costs an average of 180,000 yuan per year, while living happily single costs only 70,000 yuan. As marriage becomes increasingly commercialized, its cost-benefit ratio has fallen below the warning line. And many men have simply decided to abandon marriage and focus on pleasing themselves instead. The result? Sales of lipsticks, perfumes, and handbags have plummeted sharply in recent years. In October last year, online cosmetic sales reached 43.4 billion yuan, a 26.4% year-on-year decline. In sharp contrast, male consumption industries are booming. In 2024, the gaming industry surpassed 300 billion yuan, marking its fifth consecutive year of growth. Fishing, camping, and other outdoor sports industries are also rising against the trend. Just in 2024, 27,000 new outdoor sports stores opened. A 51% increase, with 80% of consumers being male. In the past, men spent weekends racking their brains to please their wives, working themselves to exhaustion to earn more for their families. But today's young men, remaining unmarried, have both the time and the money to spend on themselves. Chinese men are becoming more rational and pragmatic. The truth is, society has become completely unbalanced. Single men are pressured to own a car and a house, even take on loans, and are still looked down upon, as if marrying them would be a sacrifice for women. But let's be honest, how many young men in their early 20s can afford million-yuan apartments and cars worth hundreds of thousands? In the end, it all comes down to family background and parents' support. And those who are married face endless anniversaries and Valentine's days. Western Valentine's on February 14th, Chinese Qixi in August. Miss one gift, and the wife mocks him. Look how much my friend's husband makes, look what he bought her. Many women have no idea how hard it is for their men to earn that money. Without loans of tens or hundreds of thousands, they simply can't keep up with all these romantic rituals. With this mentality, it's no wonder so many men end up on the edge of burnout. It's time to be more realistic. How many dominant CEOs exist in real life? And even if they do, how many would truly fall for a Cinderella? So, to some women, my advice is, Stop living in fantasy. A relationship only thrives when two people work together and grow side by side.
你怎么看？就是现在很多男生都不愿意谈恋爱了。
这个女性吧，就是在社会当中，往往是可能更容易会是以一个受害者的形象出现。现在女生可能眼光也都比较高嘛，这个男生毛病有点多呀，就知道小瑕疵有点多呀，就不选择人家了。很多男生觉得特别心累，追女生追太累了啊，追到时候也不容易啊，而且还得给人家花钱嘛，砸很多钱，越来越把谈恋爱这种事情给物质化了。就觉得啊，我要追到一个女生，我想跟人谈恋爱，必须得钱花够了，人家才能喜欢上我，就走到了一个误区。因为我们谈恋爱嘛，或者以后谈婚论嫁，毕竟我们还是谈一个一辈子的一个对象，我们不是谈一桩买卖。无论男生女生都不能完全以物质或金钱的角度来衡量。当然物质很重要啊，但我们看一个人更重要的还是得看人品，看人。这个人他对自己好不好，他是否是爱你的，这个很关键。包括有男生追女生，你不能只看人家长得好不好看。不能只觉得，哎，人家那简直是我女神，是我的白月光。你没有了解过这个人，你喜欢的并不是这个人他本身，你只是喜欢他外在这么一个人设和标签而已。那假如你追到了，有的男生自嘲嘛，就是舔到了，结果一谈起来一发现，怎么事儿这么多，就怎么就动不动就吵架，动不动就发脾气，动不动就要花那么多钱，是吧？然后结果没谈对又分了，是吧？那我觉得说白了，那其实就在他追的时候方向就是不对的，他没有充分了解过这个人，他不了解这个人到底性格是怎么样的人，到底是对自己好不好，跟自己是不是适合的人。
The most alarming trend in China today is not the rise of so-called leftover women, but rather the quiet disappearance of ordinary men who once sought simple, stable lives and genuine relationships. The country's marriage and dating market is undergoing a silent yet profound transformation. In the past, public attention was focused on unmarried women in their 30s. But now, a more concerning pattern has emerged: the steady withdrawal of average, hard-working men. This shift is like an undercurrent beneath a calm lake, slowly reshaping the entire ecosystem of love and marriage. Traditionally, marriage in China was considered one of life's most important milestones, symbolizing family continuity and emotional security. In the old model, men provided financially, women managed the household, and both built a family based on shared roles. But as society evolved, everything changed. Today, over 42 million women in China are unmarried and over 30, and discussions about leftover women dominate family conversations. Yet on the other side, something equally significant is happening. Ordinary men are quietly leaving the stage. Take Shanghai, for instance. Every morning, the subway is packed with young professional women, elegantly dressed and career-focused. Statistics show there are 2.09 million unmarried women in the city, and among those aged 25 to 34, 41% remain single, with the average age of first marriage now past 30. Many of these women believe that marriage is not a form of charity and thus set high standards for potential partners, demanding not only love but also material security, such as houses, cars, and expensive dowries as proof of commitment. Meanwhile, men have started to view marriage through an economic lens. Data from dating platforms show that men spend 3.8 times more than women on relationships, and this was long seen as normal. Yet when men now suggest splitting costs, they're often labeled as stingy. In traditional marriages, a man's financial support was balanced by emotional and familial stability. But today, the financial burden has expanded infinitely: houses, cars, dowries, while the emotional return has become uncertain. One man, after being told he must own a fully paid apartment to marry, sighed, "Talking about marriage feels like getting robbed." This growing imbalance between effort and reward has triggered a defensive mindset among men, leading many ordinary ones to opt out altogether. Their departure has not balanced the market as expected. Instead, it has created a deep polarization. On one side, there are elite men with high status and unlimited choices, setting impossibly high standards that most women can't meet. On the other, men who treat dating as a game, never intending to commit, just enjoying the chase. The middle ground, once filled by normal, reliable men, is vanishing. As a result, ordinary women seeking marriage are stuck in limbo, unable to reach elite men yet uninterested in the unserious ones. One female architect, for example, listed strict criteria: at least 1.80 meters tall, no more than 3 years older, annual income above 300,000 yuan, good manners, cooking skills, artistic taste, and respectable parents. The irony is that men meeting these standards are either already married or prefer younger women. A 35-year-old doctor shared that every blind date starts with the same question: "Can you still have children?" Eventually, she gave up on dating altogether. Years of hard work and academic success, once her pride, now seem less valuable than youth and beauty in the eyes of many men. Such mismatches are increasingly common. At their core lies a distorted view of gender roles, where rights and responsibilities have drifted apart, leaving men confused, fatigued, and disillusioned. The withdrawal of ordinary men reflects not only disinterest in marriage but also the crushing weight of modern life. Rapid urbanization has empowered women economically and socially, while men's attitudes have evolved more slowly. In major cities, the female single rate is twice as high as in smaller towns because women there have greater access to education, independence, and the confidence to say no. At the same time, 40% of men openly admit they would not marry a woman who earns more than they do, believing it would hurt their pride. This mental gap means that many potentially compatible couples never come together. On top of that, high housing prices and living costs place enormous pressure on men, who must not only bear traditional financial duties but also meet rising expectations from women and families. Many simply find this unsustainable and walk away. The solution does not lie in declaring winners or losers but in rebuilding mutual understanding. Society must return to the essence of love and marriage, tearing up the cold marriage contract mentality and remembering that a home should be a place of affection, not a marketplace for transactions. Love, trust, loyalty, and support are what make a partnership meaningful. Women who choose to remain single have already proven through their lives that marriage is not an obligation but an option. Living at one's own pace, without settling for an empty relationship, deserves respect. At the same time, telling women to lower their standards is not a fair solution. Balance must be rebuilt through joint effort from both sides. Men are not rejecting marriage itself, they're rejecting the idea of a one-sided investment with no emotional return. What they seek is a relationship built on understanding, reciprocity, and shared growth, where neither side keeps score, but both strive for each other's happiness and lend a hand in times of struggle. The balance of the dating market continues to waver. The independence of single women and the disillusionment of unmarried men may seem unrelated, yet they're bound by the same thread. As ordinary men quietly step away, the growing imbalance will ultimately affect everyone. The way forward isn't about blame or competition, it's about rebuilding empathy and letting the home once again become a place for love, not negotiation.
These days, more and more young men don't want to get married anymore. Their parents are furious, but it's useless. And why? Because getting married has become such a headache, and many say it's because of heartless women who have made it unbearable. Guys just don't want marriage anymore, it's too expensive, too exhausting. Let's start with money. For a man to get married, his parents often have to spend all their life savings. And sometimes even that's not enough. Some families borrow money to pay the bride price or take out loans to buy a marriage apartment. After all that sacrifice, once the wedding is over, the daughter-in-law arrives and is treated like a goddess in the house. The mother-in-law barely dares to breathe, afraid of offending her and sparking a fight. Because if she gets angry and files for divorce, half a lifetime of hard-earned money goes down the drain. This isn't marrying a wife anymore, it's like marrying a deity. And the demands, that's another story. Many women in their 20s say they want a man around their age. But he must also have a house, a car, savings, and a high salary. But let's be honest, what do you have to offer? You don't have any of those things yourself. So why demand them from someone else? There's no longer that sense of building a life together, of growing side by side. You're not looking for a husband, you're looking for a fool, a walking ATM. And some cases are even more ridiculous. Just recently, a young man came into my shop and told me, dating a girl these days is exhausting. There are dozens of holidays every year. She wants flowers, gifts, money transfers, fancy dinners. And if you miss one, she says you don't love her enough. After a year or two of this, she suddenly says, "We're not compatible." And hands you the classic nice guy card. Tell me, isn't that just treating men like clowns? And to top it all off, I saw a story online recently. A man had raised 3 children, and none of them were biologically his. When he found out, the woman actually said, "They've called you dad for 3 years, does it really matter if they're yours?" Can you believe that? What kind of person talks like that? Morals and values have become completely twisted. The internet is full of advice teaching men how to please their girlfriends and wives. But no one is teaching women how to build a home, how to appreciate their husbands, or how to be more understanding. So to all those materialistic and selfish women, listen carefully. Stop treating men and their parents like fools. If you want to marry a man who has everything, Ask yourself first if you're even on his level. Keep acting like this, and soon no one will dare to marry you. Money doesn't fall from the sky. And it doesn't blow in with the wind.
不追女生，其实
These days, not chasing women has become one of the most effective ways for modern men to save money. My brother is already 32 years old and still single. He actually has about 100,000 to 200,000 yuan in savings, and he just bought a new car this year. So I asked him, "Why don't you hurry up and find a girlfriend?" And he told me, "With the little money I have, it's not even enough to survive dating. I might even have to sell my car in the end." He used to naively believe that college girls weren't that materialistic, until he met one in her early 20s. But right from the start, she made it clear that he had to spend money. If he didn't pay for dinner, it meant he wasn't sincere. If he didn't buy her things, it meant he just wanted to take advantage. Every date cost at least 500 or 600 yuan. And after a few outings, thousands were gone. Then came birthdays, Valentine's Day, and other holidays, where he was expected to send money and buy gifts. My brother said it's not that he's stingy. He wouldn't mind spending if he saw some genuine effort or emotional return, if it felt like a mutual connection. But the problem was, the more he tried, the colder things got. One girl was reserved, another was slow to open up, another hard to read. And he realized, when does this ever end? It's a bottomless pit. So he just gave up. He said, "If someone wants to play the fool, let them, I'm done." And it's precisely because he didn't date for the past few years that he was able to save up and buy his new car this year. That's my brother's story. And honestly, I'm curious. Do guys today really think this way?
现在老斑鸠和老光棍们都
Why is it that today older single women seem so emotional and anxious, while older single men remain calm, indifferent, and completely unbothered? Have you noticed, while scrolling through videos online, that there are countless older women crying, regretting how they acted when they were younger, saying things like, "I was too arrogant back then, and now no one wants to marry me"? Some complain that men today lack responsibility and vision, that they can't appreciate mature women, and even resent men for looking down on divorced women with children. Meanwhile, older single men have all but disappeared from the internet. You barely see them anymore. And even when they do respond, for example, pushing back against feminist rhetoric, they do it with a cool, detached attitude, a mix of calm irony, mild indifference, and even a bit of schadenfreude. Unless something directly threatens their survival, they don't seem to care at all. So is it really true that whoever has money is in control, and whoever's poor panics more? Partially, yes. But if you look closer, you'll find that even wealthy men are anxious, which means something deeper is going on. The reason is simple. Men and women have fundamentally different social conditioning. From birth, men are taught to become tools, to work, to provide, to serve, to carry burdens like beasts of labor. That mentality has existed for centuries and hasn't changed. Women, on the other hand, were once expected to support their husbands and raise children. But in the past few decades, that sense of duty has been erased. And they were never told they had to become tools or workhorses either. Instead, they were told to simply live beautifully and enjoy life. That's why, in material terms, men are easily satisfied. Give them food, a place to sleep, and maybe some entertainment like games, and they're fine. But women's material expectations are much higher. Beyond good food and leisure, they want shopping, travel, photos, clothes, handbags, jewelry, cosmetics. A whole list of necessities. As future incomes decline, men tend to feel that even with a lower standard of living, life won't be all that different, and it's still within their comfort zone. But for many women, that's unacceptable. Having to cut out these essentials creates deep anxiety and restlessness. Emotionally, the contrast is even sharper. Men, raised from birth to be tools, don't crave emotional connection as deeply. They can accept living and dying alone. No parents, no wife, no children, no friends. A completely solitary existence, and they're fine with that. But can women accept that? For most, no. Without a husband, children, parents, or at least close friends. Solitude feels unbearable. And since parents pass away first, and friends can't stay forever, being truly alone feels to them like the end of the world. That's also why, when men get deceived, it's usually out of greed. But when women get deceived, it's often through romance scams, known in China as pig butchering schemes. Just think about the pain of being emotionally manipulated, betrayed by someone you trusted. Who wouldn't panic or become emotional in that situation? Interestingly, even when some women choose the wrong partners or make poor decisions, they still blame men for everything. As the author puts it, with a hint of irony, women truly are mysterious and deeply contradictory creatures.
Men have changed, the so-called simp economy has collapsed. Meanwhile, many older single women are rapidly becoming poorer, especially those over 30. As time passes and men free themselves from traditional social pressures, these women have lost their primary financial supporters. At the same time, the intense competition in the workplace has been destroying their confidence, particularly after the economic slowdown. Today, women must compete directly with men for jobs, which only increases professional pressure. And many have also missed the so-called ideal marriage age. Now, matchmakers are introducing them to divorced men with children, the very same men they once looked down on when they were 25. Now, those men are out of reach. The core issue is that during the era of the simp economy, these women grew up constantly being pampered. When they were younger, they easily received money from boyfriends or admirers, and that led to extravagant and impulsive spending habits. Today, many are deep in debt, with their entire salaries gone the moment they're paid, used to cover online loans and repayments, leaving them worse off than those living paycheck to paycheck. By contrast, older single men tend to spend less as they age, while their income, in most cases, continues to rise. Even an average man earning 3,000 to 4,000 yuan a month can still enjoy himself playing old video games and feel content. In this reality, the problem for older single women isn't just about lowering their standards, it's that the entire dating dynamic has changed. So, what do you think about this? If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. See you in the next video.